Hi, Kevin Coop here, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. So there are three things on my mind this morning, so let's, work on them one at a time. First of all, I've gotten some emails from Morning Newsbeat readers wondering how come I have not reported on and commented on the travails over at American Apparel, where the founder of the company, Dov Charney, has been stripped of his chairmanship, and the board of directors is looking to also fire him as CEO. Well, I'll be honest with you. Part of the reason I haven't done anything about this is I had this fear that as soon as I finished writing it, I'd want to go take a shower. Because the goings-on over at American Apparel seem just totally sleazy. This is a guy who apparently has had years of accusations about sexual misconduct. The board is acting now because apparently his sexual misconduct has, started to have some impact on the financials of the company. Now listen, I'm not a prude, and I think whatever goes on between consenting adults is pretty much okay. But, everything this guy seems to have done, according to the reports, is totally beyond what I think is acceptable in any kind of company, much less a public company. And the boards, I wouldn't want my kids working there. I don't think many of the board members probably have their kids working there. It just seems completely beyond what is in any way or shape or form acceptable or appropriate. But hey, you know something? The board has known about this for a long time, and they didn't do anything until he had to start making payments, apparently as hush money, to people who, he didn't want to talk about the sexual shenanigans. So listen, a pox on all their houses. I just think it's completely beyond what's acceptable, and I find it hard to work up much sympathy for anybody except maybe the victims in the case. Second, and this is a much better story, I am totally jazzed to see a number of stories lately that have come out talking about how some of the fictional creations on Star Trek are actually moving out of the realm of science fiction and maybe moving a lot closer to becoming science fact. And, they're talking about the transporter, they're talking about the food replicators, they're talking about the holodeck, and they're even talking about warp drive. It's just so totally cool. And a lot of this is, as scientists move forward very quickly, they're starting to see what these things, which a lot of people didn't think would ever become reality, in fact might be. And I think this is wonderful. Star Trek is always been one of the most hopeful and optimistic fictional creations I think that's ever been out there. And it's always been optimistic and hopeful about technology, and optimistic and hopeful about the human condition. I think we may be moving a little faster in terms of technology. I'm not quite as optimistic that the human heart and the human soul and the human brain are going to move quickly as technology, but we can always hope. And finally, I'm reporting to you today from the campus of Portland State University, where this week my annual summer adjunctivity, as I like to call it, begins. I am team teaching a marketing class with the great Dr. Tom Kilpatrick, and it's going to be a blast. I know it's early, but I know the students are going to be smart, and they're going to be insightful, and they're going to be passionate, and they're going to work really hard. And it always just makes my summer. And I have to tell you something, I've been lucky. We have a bunch of really good speakers coming in this summer, as we have in all the summers that I've been doing this. And I've been really lucky because I've been able to talk to friends of mine from around the industry, and some of them have come from as far as 3,000 miles to talk to my class. And I think some of it is just that these have really good hearts, and they have generosity of spirit, and some of it is just the allure of the classroom. Because you get into a classroom and you can't help but feel hopeful. You're talking to people who are the future of business, the future of the industry in which they've chosen to work, and somehow that's infectious. I have to tell you, every summer I've done this, I've had a blast, and it is a privilege and just a total thrill for me to be here. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this Thursday morning, and as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.